and gentlemen, welcome back to the Pit Pass, the #1 truck and tractor pulling podcast in the world. That's statistically proven. Why would I lie to you guys about that? I have no idea. Just take my word for it, okay? We're here, episode number 3 of the podcast. We've been hammering out episodes for the past 3 weeks now. I'm super proud of us because it did not seem good for this week's rendition of the podcast whatsoever. We could not find a guest to save our lives. We finally got one on, and then we were having a bunch of technical difficulties to get it going and have a good quality stream for you guys. But we made it, and we haven't recorded an episode in like over a week now because we're actually recording this Wednesday night now. I feel like so much has happened since the last time I talked to you too. You changed the name of the racetrack. You got a new girlfriend. You got your rules out. You got events going on. Like, what in the world, man? You've been a busy guy.
Yeah, it's been busy nonstop. Guys signing up for points, and I'm sure it's the same with you.
Yeah, we have a good bit going. I think it'll really pick up because what I did, which was probably a mistake on my part, I announced that the deadline was April 29th. And I know guys have literally told me, hey, we're waiting until the last minute to sign up. So that kind of sucks because you can't use them for a promotional standpoint, especially now with like talking to different promoters and stuff. You can sell a class a whole lot easier when you go, hey, I got 10 trucks signed up already. So
exactly.
Sucks,
so
but
if you're a puller, make sure to sign up.
You got to sign up. Sign up Appalachian Outlaws Pulling Series. Sign up for the Summer Series. There shouldn't be any conflict there. I don't think we're offering a class that's the same. So if you can fit one of our classes, be sure to support us. Help us out. If not, it's cool. There's a lot of different places you can go pull and have fun. So no hard feelings. But we're back. We got a great episode coming for you guys. A great guest. Today's guest is one of the top running Outlaw 4-wheel drive trucks in Virginia. Last year, he competed in the Appalachian Outlaws Pulling Series. After an engine failure, he battled back into the top 15 trucks in the big block HO class. So here to talk to you about the growth of the sport, gas truck pulling, and everything involved with all of that, please welcome the Scalded Dog, William Campbell.
Stuff out.
Yeah, I know. Well, what I'm thinking is when pulling season starts, I'm going to bring everything and we can just sit at the pool and like talk. And it'll be like we're all sitting around at the trailers and the pitch, you know?
Well, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. So what's been going on with you?
Just working, man, working.
Yeah, I hear you there.
Trying to gather up parts to get another motor back together.
Yeah.
And, you can't get nothing.
That was unfortunate last year. That happened to you up in Ohio, huh?
That was a big hit.
Yeah, especially driving that far for a result like that. But
yeah, I did two of those.
Yeah.
I went through 3 motors there in about a year and a half.
Jeez, Whiz. Maybe you just got to put a Chevy motor down in there.
Oh, my God almighty. I don't know. They were doing pretty good this year, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. You were doing pretty good last year, too. I wouldn't take any credit away from you.
Well, not bad for that little motor.
Right.
I tell you, that's a tough crowd of trucks.
Yeah, I'm really happy with the turnout we got last year. I don't know how it's going to go next year, if there's still going to be the same amount of participation with everybody or how that's going to go. But, man, last year we had guys from all different areas, and I thought it was cool personally just to see everybody come together, and all the trucks were super competitive, even though they've never pulled with each other, you know?
I think you got a good thing going there. I really do.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
I've been around pulling since I was a little old fella in diapers, but
yeah.
It's y'all took it to another level. Let's put it that way.
I appreciate that. Like for you though, like this is what I'm curious about because I know we've been watching you guys on YouTube and stuff forever. Like probably since I could barely walk. I remember me and my old man sitting there watching YouTube videos and stuff, and we always like watched all you guys pulling down in Virginia and went, man, like if we ever pulled against them guys, we're gonna get it handed to us. So was it the same? Was it the same for you? Like, did you think you were gonna come up and have a tough time, or?
Well, yeah. We thought the same way you did. We looked at the northern trucks like, man, those guys are a step ahead of us all the time. We got to step our game up to run with those cats. But,
like that's the cool thing to me. Like we all came together and like it went back and forth. Like the first time all the trucks came together was 2 years ago, and Dalton, he won the big block class. And then the year after that, everybody was going back and forth. So I thought that was awesome, you know?
It actually worked out great.
Yeah.
I mean, at any given event, it was a toss-up. You didn't know who was going to win.
Right. Especially with the 35s, the 1-ton driveline. You're really limiting the horse. You know what kind of motors were in that class. So to see them guys come in, and you know, we had a 494 in the class that was right up in the mix the whole season. So, I mean, that's awesome to me.
And a little
for
510, that's me.
Yeah. Yeah, and you did good. I wish you would have been able to compete at Weaklands, though.
Yeah, well, you know.
Yeah.
The truck was getting tired.
Right. Well, that was one of my favorite moments last year when you came back and ran exhibition at the end of the class out there and put down a pass after the trouble you had earlier in the night there. Like, that was such a cool thing to see.
It was a rough ending. I had to drag it to the trailer. It took us about an hour to get it in.
Jeez.
We finished her off strong.
Yeah. That's the only way to do it, right?
That's the only way to do it.
Yep.
I didn't know they was even gonna let me run it, but I was like, yeah, we're already here. Let's run it.
Right. Yeah, you drove all that way. You got to go home with at least a couple passes under your belt. You know?
Oh yeah, it's for the fans.
Right.
And I tell you, the Appalachian Outlaws, they've done reached out and got the sponsors to pick up. Y'all done got so many sponsors to help us with the, getting our way in and the hook fees and stuff. The least you can do is make the pass, whether it's for the points or the money or not.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think everybody really enjoyed seeing you do that. That's for sure. I know we were all down at the end of the track celebrating like you won the dang championship down there. Like, that was awesome.
Y'all are crazy.
Yeah, that was awesome. So what's your plans for next year?
Well, I'm working on a motor. I think we're going to be in the works for it. Hope I can get everything ready. I got some other stuff I want to do to the truck. Kind of running with y'all for the year and running with some of them big dog trucks. You kind of found out where you needed to fix some things and upgrade some things. And so I'm hoping to make a run with you guys next year.
Yeah, that'll be awesome.
I'm hoping to get everything done and be ready to go by the first one and get signed up with you, and we'll see how it goes. But
yeah, that's all you can do.
That's the plan.
Yeah, I know our plan now is we're going to do, and this isn't even public knowledge yet, but we're going to do probably 2 pools in Ohio just to cater to them guys.
Oh, yeah.
And then the rest of them are going to be like in our area, out east more, and then hopefully we can get a couple down in Virginia for you guys. So I'm hoping with the locations we're picking, we'll see a lot more guys from your area commit to it and want to pull with us.
I think we will. I think due time we will.
Okay.
I think if this thing stays going, I think you're going to take a whole lot of Virginia guys.
I hope so, because that's fun having the ones we have already. So
I tell you, Colton, this podcast is for you just want to know the history of things. Pulling's come a long ways. I started in 96, actually. I was 16 years old, still riding a school bus to school, and my first vehicle was a pulling truck.
Yeah.
I bought that before I bought me a car to drive to school, believe it or not.
Jeez, it was.
But back then, you could take a 429 out of a Lincoln or something, throw a little cam in it, and fix it up. It wasn't nothing crazy. It was a street motor.
Right.
And you could pull and be competitive back in those days.
Yeah.
And now look at where we're at.
It's crazy.
There was no money. Pulling is an event that, in my opinion, I know we'll go hear some critic on this. It's more expensive than drag racing and dirt track racing at times. My opinion, I've done them all. I've done a little mud bogging. Pulling's an expensive event that don't get publicized as much, if I'm saying that right. Mm-hmm. It never had it always costed the puller twice as much as anybody else, and there was nothing coming back. I can remember winning first place back years ago in 2000s for just a trophy and maybe $25, maybe.
Right, that's how it is around here at all the local fairs. You go and they give you $12 and a firm handshake if you're lucky. You know what I mean? It's like,
and still back in those days, you could go to East Side down here at our local drag strip with a streetcar, and you could have $500, $1,000 shootouts back in those days. Now they got $10,000, $20,000 shootouts. They don't went off the wall.
Right.
And I think now's the time the sponsors are kind of coming in. Y'all are finding some to help out with the pulling stuff and bringing the purses up and helping with that situation. And I tell you, I think that's going to go a long ways on y'all's behalf
I hope so.
Of gaining the trucks. I really do.
Right. I mean, that's what it's all about for me. Like you said, it's like the pullers put all the money into the trucks to put the show on, and they're not getting anything in return. Like, to me, looking at it in my eyes, it's like, from a business standpoint, a promoter can make money and not, sacrifice the revenue going in for the pullers. So it's like, for us, that was so important. That's why we went and we worked hard to get the sponsors to be able to give everybody a free hook and a free entry into the pool. And that's something I really want to keep going. Obviously, as this continues to grow, we're going to get more trucks and that sort of thing. So I'm hoping we can still get enough sponsors to be able to cover all that. But, I mean, we'll see what happens there.
And I don't know if any of your sponsors listen to these podcasts we have going on here that you're doing, but now's the time the sponsors should jump in on this. With the coronavirus stuff and the way the country is, we're having problems finding tires, parts, wheels, a little bit of everything. I actually jumped on your page last summer on the Appalachian Outlaws and looked through the sponsors, and I was calling some of these guys for tires. And
yeah, I know you were.
Those sponsors, now's a good time to jump on because, if you're like me, and I'm sure most people are, if you buy a good product from somebody you never dealt with, but it ends up being a good product that you get and they take care of you, most likely you're going back to them.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So now's really a good time because there's people reaching out from different places because they can't find it at home or they can't find it in their area. So
it just seems like that's getting worse too. Like before we got on here, I seen an article that VP racing fuel is going to increase in price 100%.
Ooh.
So what's 5 gallon of race fuel going to cost now? It's going to cost over $100 just to get to a truck pool race fuel wise.
It's already there.
Right.
The Q16 that most of us run on the average, $100 to $125 for 5 gallons.
Yeah, like so that's crazy.
They increase 100%.
Like that's the problem with all this. That's my worry. It's like the price of everything is going up so much. Even fuel you put in your tow rig. Like, it's going to cost you double or more what it costs you to travel around all these pools as it did last year. So I'm sure that's going to affect a lot of the turnouts we get too, unfortunately.
I'd say it's going to play a little factor if the fuel price stays where it's at.
Right.
You take for me when I went to Carrollton, Ohio, and I'm not sure if that's one of y'all's tracks at the Ohio, area, but on the 2 tracks you're talking about. But that was a 7.5 hour ride. That was, you're $300 on the fuel tank just to get there.
Right. Yeah. And that's not costing your race fuel.
No.
What it costs you to get in the gate, food, tolls, all that. Like that's why it's so important to me to take care of the drivers when they show up, because those are the ones putting your show on. It's like, why are they spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars to put a show on for you, and then you're going to stuff your pockets? Like that just never made sense to me.
Well, I think that's what happened to the pulling industry, as you would say. I think we lost a lot of people the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years, and the young generation just really ain't getting into it. You got some of them that got in these diesels because diesels was a hot thing for the street, so they're kind of stepping up. But as far as the gas side and some of the other stuff, I think pulling was dying off heavily just for that fact. There was, why would you want to go spend $20,000 to win $25-$50, and if you could win that?
Right. And I just don't think like pulling's been publicized enough. Like you said, like if you get online, everybody looks at like the Street Outlaws stuff on TV. They're drag racers and that gets publicity. Everybody looks at like the dirt track racing now because there's TV shows about it, and there's content creators within that space. So that's kind of why we got the idea for this podcast, because it's like now there's content, there's long form content that you can get on and listen about pulling, and we have guys like you on, and you can learn about those people and kind of develop a relationship with them and get more invested in the sport. So I agree with you there 100%.
And that's been the whole problem with pulling. And, if you look at the grandstands this past year, for example, we go to any dirt track race or drag race, there really ain't no more people in the grandstands than was at a truck pull.
Yeah.
grandstands are still half empty at most places.
Right. Which I don't know how it was down your guys' way, but it just seemed like even the attendance compared to last year wasn't as good. Like them stands at Listy were probably a quarter of the way full compared to what they were years prior. Like that.
Yep.
And I'm sure Chase can attest to that too
Oh,
at
yeah.
all his events.
Yeah, up north we've had a lot of trouble with getting fans in the stands.
And I tell you, another thing I think causes that is, like you said, everything boils down to the money. You got most families now got 2 kids, maybe, so there's 4 of them.
Mm-hmm.
Around here, I noticed at some of our big fair events, man, they charge you like $5 to get in. Whether you're going to the fair or not, you got to pay that $5 or $10. And then if you want to watch the event going on, it's another 10 or 15 to get in. So, it's costing $20 per person. If they got 2 kids, they're looking at $80 to go watch a truck pull anymore. And a lot of families just can't do it.
Yeah, it adds up.
It adds
especially like in the area county fairs are in. Like, let's be honest, the majority of them aren't in a wealthy area. No. So them guys are looking at that saying, man, here's $10 there, $10 there. Now I can't put food on the table, so I ain't going to no truck pull.
Yep. I think a lot of the places have pushed the crowd away. I think if they would go back to $10 a head, come watch truck pull. I always said if you got 100 people at $20, but if you got 500 at $10, you made more money at the $10. So why not keep the price down? Try to get the people back in. They're going to eat while they're there, so you'll make a little extra money on the food and the drinks.
Right. Well, that's what I like about Listy, because it's $10 to get in. I think kids are cheaper. And you get in, you get to watch the pull. The pits are open, so you can walk around and check out the trucks and all that sort of thing. So at least up here, that's not a common thing. Like usually you got to pay to get in the pool, and then to get in the pits, you're paying like 3 times what the general admission is to get in. So I think that's an awesome thing. Hopefully more people can get on board with stuff like that, but I think that would be a huge deciding factor in getting the fans and that sort of thing. So.
And I think they'll come back. Everybody was a little skeptic and scared, and a lot was going on. I think once some of this stuff clears down, I think we'll get some crowd back. I think Listy will pack again.
I hope so, because years ago, they had Interstate come in and do like a point series there.
Yeah.
And they had shuttles, the church at the top of the road there.
Yep.
They were shuttling people in on buses to get into that place.
That's crazy.
That's how many people were showing up to that pool.
That's crazy.
The 2-day Thunder event we're doing is on that same weekend that show was. So I'm hoping through a lot of hard work and time we can get that event to what the Interstate show was years ago, which I think it's possible. I mean, we got a lot of things going in our favor there. So
plus you got a lot more classes. You're getting a lot more outside trucks, out-of-stater trucks.
Right.
The show's getting bigger, of course. And that's another thing. We go along with the money around here at the local fairs and events. You got people that live here locally that's been going to this thing for the last 20 years.
Right.
And here the last 10 years, you might have 12 trucks in the class. They're all local trucks. They've seen the same things over and over. They're like, well, we're not going to spend $80 to go down and watch these same 12 trucks.
Right. So, but that's how it is even with our big sanctioning bodies around here. Like, you go to Big Butler Fair up here, it's the same classes every year on the same night. The same trucks pulling in it. Like, there's no diversification on the show you're getting. So, with our stuff, you're getting guys from 7 or 8 different states coming in.
Yep.
And it's big name guys that you see on the internet that have been posting how their season's going, and they have a fan base behind them already. So, I'm hoping that is kind of a deciding factor too. And it seems like we're kind of setting a trend there as well with like all the pulling teams and stuff getting on the internet and sharing what they're doing and that sort of thing. So I think that's going to help. Just making the drivers become more personable with the fans, I think, is going to go a long way.
I think you're going in the right direction. Everything takes time, but I believe it's going to show itself. I believe we're in the right direction.
I hope so. We'll see what happens. What's
I'm
going
gonna
on?
stick with you regardless.
That'll work.
I'm going to give it a run.
Well, it's guys like you that support us that is going to make this hopefully become something. I mean, we couldn't do it without support like you guys. So, I mean, that means a lot too.
Well, I tell you, when you look at it, I mean, y'all just opened up a whole new can of worms for us. Y'all took it to another level. And
yeah.
to me, I like it. I mean, you know, some guys, I guess they like the local stuff, go to the same place, see the same stuff.
Right.
Me,
Which,
I'm like, you know, let's go, let's expand, let's go check these other trucks out. Let's get a big show.
right.
I
Which
like
you
watching
guys,
just as much as I like pulling. So
yeah, you guys have good events down your direction too. Like you got the Dragon Motorsports and Mountain Boys. Like you guys got some really good tracks down there. So hopefully we can.
And we got the trucks, but the way the rule sets is they're so split up. Those two different events are two different set of trucks and rules, and you know, it kind of breaks the field up half the time.
Right.
That small block class was probably the only equal class there was that could combine everybody. The rest of it was just blowed out of, you know, everything was crazy.
So what's the difference between like your guys' big block class with Mountain Boys and Dragon then?
Well, at one time, the Mountain Boys was a 557 cubic inch limit. And then the Temples at one time, the Dragon Motorsports, it was a little less. It was more of a like a 512 class.
Okay.
Well, then he broke it up and just kind of went with an outlaw class and just kind of opened it up. But he made it open. He had a 555 for a while, but then he opened it up to no cubic inch. So, you know, it just it blowed everything out of proportion. And then what they would do, they would schedule the pulls on the same nights and some of the stuff. So if you run one points, it was hard to make the other one. And you know how it was. You got some dedication people. They just can't jump both ways. So
it's the same way up here. It's the same thing up here. That's the worst part about it, especially the rules. It's like, I thought we did really good last year creating a rule set where anybody can come pull if you're on 35s and a DOT tire and a 35, a 1-ton driveline, that sort of thing. But then you still got guys that are going a different direction with their classes. So it's still kind of splitting the trucks up in a way, which is unfortunate. Because I think for me, it's like in my point of view, and it's not the same for everybody. I think Chase is kind of in the same boat with this, but I don't even want to include him on this because I can't read his mind. But for me, it's like I think it would be better right now for the sport if we all could work together. If I could call up another promoter and we work together and come up with the same rules and we work together on not overlapping the schedule so he can have a pull on Saturday and then I don't have a pull that Saturday, I'm doing mine the next Saturday now, that sort of thing. Like that could go a long way because I think when you're conflicting with people and you're overlapping your events with other guys, that's just hurting the sport because you're splitting everybody up. Right. It's not going to help you. It's not going to help the other guy either. So I'm hoping that kind of becomes a theme. It seems like up here, everybody's kind of working together now. Like we got us and then Chase works real close with us, obviously, you know, with the scheduling fact, and he's doing a lot of announcing for us next year. And then you got Full Pull and Power Pull. It seems like them guys are kind of cooperative when it comes to the scheduling thing and all that. So I'm hoping at least up here we can kind of all work together and grow the sport. Because in 10 years, if we're still doing this, I doubt it's going to be on the same level it could be if we're not all working together, you know? So
well, we got to pick on Chase a little. He ain't got no Appalachian Outlaws on none of his pulls yet. I've heard.
Not yet.
No.
We're working on it.
Listen, I've practically got on my hands and knees and begged him at one point, and he's going, "No, I'm doing my own thing."
We're working on it. We're working
on it though. That's one of those behind the scenes things nobody's gonna know until it's in black and white.
I think he's gonna go on board.
Oh yeah, we will eventually.
The stars just got to align. Like I think with me and Chase working together in my camp and team and his team, we can put on a really special pull. But we just got to find the right place to do it, the right time of year to do it, that sort of thing. But I think it's going to happen eventually.
Yep. It's going to happen. Just a matter of when.
Right.
I think you'll have the turnout of the trucks for that class. I really do.
I hope so.
I think so. I mean, you know, most of our events this year, you had a good turnout of trucks.
Right.
Even the weekly event, it wasn't really nothing there, just a money run, just a play night. But look at the turnout.
I think we had like 18 big blocks there, I think.
Yeah.
And to me, it's like, that's a perfect size class. Like, I think it's awesome to get a ton of trucks together, but when you get 40 trucks in a class, the fans don't want to sit there and watch the same kind of truck go for hours, because you think that's 3 hours of pulling right there easily.
I don't know. The pool you had at Craigsville, what was it, 30, was it 31 of them, 29 of them?
Somewhere in there.
I don't know. That was pretty good.
Yeah, that was fun. That was fun. And you had like just the way the running order was, and you had, you know, a PA guy take the lead, and then a Virginia guy took the lead, and then everybody moved over onto that right side and just started stacking in there. Like, that was so fun.
Yep.
That was so fun.
That was, and I tell you, 30 trucks, that's a good field of trucks.
Yeah. I was really happy with that.
And like you said, a lot of those trucks you don't see every day, so it was, you know, it's nice to watch them.
Right, like we had two guys come from New York. We had a couple Vermont guys there, Rhode Island. Like, them guys drove halfway across the country to be there. You know what I mean? It was like, it was insane.
I tell you, I like it.
Yeah, that Craigsville event was friggin' special to me, because we were about a mile down the road and I didn't know what to expect. Like, we just put all that time and energy into getting this started. We had like 2 or 3 rain outs at that point, and I'm like, man, and I thought I was gonna get sick before we pulled into the place, and then we pulled in, there was already half the pits full. I'm like, thank God. And I thought it went pretty good. I think we all worked together and made something really special happen there.
It did.
And I'm just so happy I'm so happy Wyatt and all them guys gave us a chance there, because that was such a shot in the dark. We basically just pitched the idea to them, and they're like, let's do it.
Well, I hope they stay on board. I don't know how that is. I hadn't got to talk to anybody, but
yeah, that kind of negotiating and contacting, that hasn't even happened with us yet, as far as the pulls down your guys' way. Like, we have a pretty good idea where we want to go, but it seems like everybody kind of tries to wait until after Christmas to get all that stuff rolling. So
I'm pretty sure I got one spot that definitely is on board if y'all consider to go that way. I'm pretty sure, and I think it'll be a great spot. I think you'll like it just as well.
Okay.
I think it'll be it's a big place. So
my thoughts are, is it?
Oh, jeez. Yeah, a lot more parking, a lot more grounds. It's a big place.
Huh. My thoughts are, I'd like to stick to about 10 points hooks next year. I don't want to jump feet first and do a bunch of different pulls, especially if the guys, the biggest thing is there's so many guys traveling and doing that sort of thing. So I want to keep it kind of tamed for now until we get a really good following going. So
10 will be a good run.
10 points hooks.
You know, that could. Go ahead.
I want to start, and this is breaking news to all you people listening, I want to start like a non-point series where we go, so you can go to a track down your guys' way, and it's a non-points event, Appalachian Outlaws, our rules, that sort of thing. So for everybody up here who really only has 10 hooks to look forward to, because nobody else offers a 1-ton driveline class, we can work with some other tracks and get like our non-point series in there for them guys to have more places to go and pull. That's kind of like the long-term idea there. I don't know how many we'll have next year. I think so.
Well, if you think they'll go, I can probably get us some spots.
Okay. And I think for me, it's like, if we did one up here, we wouldn't get a huge turnout of trucks from your guys' area, but that's not the whole point of it. The point of it's to get guys from up here to go
hook. It's still got a lot to do with it. I mean, it takes It takes both ends working.
Right. But if a couple of you guys from down there wanted to come up and pull, you got that opportunity, vice versa. So you might not get 20 PA trucks going to a non-points hook in Virginia, but you're still going to get a handful of them, and you're going to get all the guys from down there, and it's still going to be a good class.
It'll be a good class.
Right. It just gives guys more opportunities to go pull, basically. So
well, I'm hoping we pick up a few more of the Virginia guys.
I hope so, too.
I tell you another thing, too. The 3, it was only like a 3-run deal last year. Kind of because we lost the first rain out. And then once that first pull went, and by the time the second rolled around, if you wasn't anywhere in the runnings, I think a lot of them had in their head there just wasn't no chance.
Yeah.
So they kind of just tossed it away. But 10 pulls, But as you found out, even if you was back in 10th, that third run could have put you up in the top 5 quick.
Right.
The way the footage.
Right. Yeah. With the total distance, that totally changes the game.
And I hope we would have had
if we would have had one more pull, the top 10 trucks could have changed, really.
Oh yeah.
which is just insane.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I missed one at Craigsville. Basically, you might as well say. I mean, I didn't go nowhere. I was in the back,
yeah.
breakage and problems again as usual. But I tell you, and I was like, well, I ain't got no chance. I shouldn't even go to Listy. But I was like, I wanted to go. I wanted to try to get this thing off the ground and help as much as possible. So even with some limping truck, kind of a horse with 3 legs.
It ran good though. Don't take any credit away from you.
Is it on my end?
Hello?
Oh, there you go.
Okay, we're good.
Yeah, what happened?
I have no idea. We got hillbilly Wi-Fi up here too. Well, for Chase, it's like he says I live in the city practically compared to where he lives. He's out in the boondocks.
Well, he's like me then. I'm out in the boondocks every place.
Yeah. Well, the first time I went up to his place, I was going down a road with a 45-mile-per-hour speed limit, and there was an Amish buggy behind me, and he went out in the left lane and passed me. And I was going 45 mile an hour. So it's a different breed up where he's from for sure.
Drag racing horses.
Yeah, or something. They're feeding them pretty good up there, I guess.
Yep.
Jeez, it was.
I don't even remember where we was at and what we was talking about now.
We were talking about Listy. You limping the truck up the Listy, and I said you had a pretty good run up there, and then I cut out.
Well, yeah, we jumped back in. I mean, I ended up, after it was all said and done, I was still right around the top 10 in the points at the end of the year.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Unbelievable.
Right. I don't know. I think personally, like, we had all the rainouts, but we did a really good job at executing on the ones we did have. And I just hope the people that didn't participate last year see that, and they're interested in being with us next year. So I guess that's something we just got to wait and see. We got a pretty good amount of sign-ups so far. So I hope that's a good sign, because we got about 6 months until they end. So hopefully that's a good sign we're going in the right direction.
I'm not on there yet, but I plan to be. So you can count me in if I can get my stuff together.
Okay. Everybody listening to this, you got to get in Will's messages and tell him to sign up for Appalachian Outlaws. You got to have them on there.
I'd already done devoted the whole year to you. I'm not even going to run the local stuff here, not unless, just a weekend we ain't got no pull and I just go. But
jeez, it was.
I'm going to run y'all's points. I ain't running no points down on this side.
Well, hopefully you can get your motor back together and make a run for the championship, huh?
I think we'll be ready. Got the engine guy. I ended up having to buy some used stuff, blocks and stuff. Couldn't get nothing new. Can't get nothing.
Yeah.
Couldn't find
that seems to be the theme.
But I ended up finding a guy up your way, actually, that was selling a motor. So I ended up just buying the bottom end, and I'm going to put some of my stuff in there, and we're going to make magic happen. And
that'll work. Yeah, that's what you got to do, right?
Yeah, I had to go a lot bigger. I got to keep up with you guys, I tell you.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there was a lot of luck that went into play last year.
I tell you, you guys turned out pretty good. But you take Petros, Chambers, all those guys, man, they're just tough competitors.
Yeah, and especially Chambers. I mean, he was running 36s since he built that truck, I think. And then the way he was able to come over and adapt so quickly to the 35s and be super competitive, like, that was really impressive to me.
I know he's going to raise Cain because I'm always bragging him up and messing with him. But I tell you, he does a lot of homework. That guy, he studies and works hard on that thing.
Yep, that's what it takes. Because, like we always say, with this level of pulling, when it's this competitive, to be able to win, you got to do more things right than the next guy. So a guy like Gary, who's constantly studying the track and different ways to drive the truck, that's going to be the guy that's at the front every time, because you're going to get more consistent doing it that way.
Yep.
And Mark's the same way. He stands there and studies that track, and he's been pulling on most of the tracks his whole life almost. So he has a lot of homework. So we'll see how it plays out.
I tell you, I pulled from 96 to 2008 with another Ford called Magnum Force. I sold out 2008, went and did a little rock climbing, went and did a little mud bogging, did a little drag race, and I tried some different things. And when I come back to pulling in 18 or so, I tell you, it really was a curveball. There's a lot of new stuff on the market that I didn't know nothing about.
Right. Even the classes now, it's like it used to be basically a street class, so you still had to have the leaf springs in the back and maybe even a Reese hitch and that sort of thing. And all that stuff changed the past 10 years or so to what it is now.
Yep.
So, and I'm sure with how technology goes and stuff, it's going to keep advancing, and we're going to add more stuff in down the line, and it'll just be a ever-going process.
So it was all new to me again. I'm in the learning process again, you know. I tell you. Things have changed a lot in 20 years.
From my dad and my uncle's experience and everybody I talk to, I think it's a learning experience forever. You're never gonna figure it out 100%.
But you know, just learning the new stuff. You know, back in our day, we run the old ram clutches, mechanical clutches and stuff. Now you got hydraulic clutches and all. You know,
right?
It's slippers, and we didn't have none of that when I was pulling before.
Right.
So now it's an all new ball game,
and that all changes the game too. So you gotta kind of adapt and use that kind of stuff if you want to be at the top.
You know,
really,
like you said, the big rule thing: 35/12 on a 1-ton running gear. And then you got all that horsepower, so then you got to figure out how to plan all that and make it work for you.
Right, and there's a million different things that go into that. Your gears, your tire pressure, the way you drive the truck. Like, there's just so much stuff that you got to figure out, you know?
Yeah, my problem is I don't know but wide open. You know, I'm a WFO guy. It ain't working.
Just put her to the floor and let her eat, huh?
Yeah, that's the way it was back in the day.
Yeah.
But
which on some tracks that'll work for you, you know.
It worked out on a few of them.
Yeah.
But it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited to see how next year goes. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and
those new classes you got coming, I believe they're going to be a real good asset.
I hope so. I'm excited for all of them. I think each one it's the same theme as our gas classes. So we made the rules to where anybody can really come pull if you fit a few different rules that keep the class tame. So like the diesel class, it's 1-ton driveline, 35-inch tires, 27% hitch, and it's basically open turbo. And you can do whatever you want. You got to hook it on the 35s. That's just an example. So you can have a street-driven truck going up against a 2.6 truck, going up against a 3.0 truck that doesn't have duals and doesn't have the drop box and stuff yet. So that's going to be crazy.
And
I didn't know what the hype was going to be around that class, but as soon as we posted the rules, it seems like, you know, spectators, pullers, everyone's really excited to see how that goes. So I'm looking forward to it.
Those guys in those street trucks just got a good enough chance as any of them, because that 35 tire and stuff, that's going to be the breaking point for them big old 6s and 3.0s.
Right, and with the open turbo, I mean, a street-driven truck can have a 3.6 turbo on it going up against a 2.5 or something and make more horsepower.
And some of those guys know how to make that stuff work. So
yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
Figure it out.
Right, I'm sure there will be. I'm sure eventually there's going to be a guy who makes wicked horsepower and he figures out how to hook that truck up, and it's going to be a bad time for everybody else.
That's the name of the game.
Right. So it's bound to happen, but I think it's going to be a tough task for sure, especially with how you have to drive a diesel truck. You can't really slip the clutch out and ride it for 200 feet. You got to get the boost up and go. So they're spinning instantly.
Maybe that's what I need to go to. That's my kind of style.
Yeah, just hammer it and send it.
I don't know. I like that sound. I just can't. I gotta hear that motor run.
Right. I like them all, but there's nothing like hearing a big block go 9,000 RPMs down the track wide open. There's no other sound in the world that is going to be that good.
I know all the young new age guys, they into the smoke.
Yeah, which that's fun too. That's fun too. Don't get me wrong.
Don't get me wrong.
See, we can't say too much. We can't say too much because Chase is a black smoke guy.
I know.
I like diesels.
Looking at us.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get them on the gas side though. I think I'm slowly getting them there.
Yeah. I like all pulling vehicles. So
I do too. I do too.
Same.
I long the tractors. I'm not a big fan of the tractors. Well, I ain't gonna say that. I like the big smoker tractors. You know, the big turbo. Now them old putt-putts back in the day.
Yeah, it's like watching paint dry almost, huh?
Yeah,
I
can't hardly do that.
Right, which I don't hate on them guys because they're in it for the same reason we all are. They love the sport, and to them, that's an adrenaline rush, and they have a great time doing that. So I can't say. But for me, it's like I can watch a couple of them, then it's time to go get something to eat and hang out in the pits.
I've said all day and supported those guys because, you know, like you said, they're all there for the same reasons.
Right.
But it's a tough thing for me.
Now, when it comes to diesels, though, me and Chase were at a pull up in Ohio there at the end of the year, and they had them super stock diesels.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, my God. They were going like 35, 40 mile an hour. I mean, it was nuts.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun there for sure.
I would love to do that, but I can't afford that.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
Yep.
You see some of them guys selling their trucks, and it's over $100,000 to buy it off of them. So I can't imagine what kind of money they have into it. My God.
Oh yeah. So I'd say some of those big professional guys, 350,000 easy.
Oh, easy.
Yeah,
easily.
I don't even know if I would even touch it.
It might get you in the ballpark. I don't know.
That's just a whole. Done.
Yeah, that's just a whole other level of pulling.
It is.
Which I'm hoping.
You go further west, you see a lot of that.
Right. Right, because I think like out west, they're all like farmers and that sort of thing. And, you know, they got an old international tractor sitting there and they're like, I'm going to go hook it to a pulling sled. And then they make enough money where the addiction slowly gets worse and worse throughout the years. The next thing you know, they got a big super stock diesel tractor. And you know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's how it goes. But
maybe 10 turbos hanging out of it.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, I think.
They're going to alcohol now. You don't even know.
Yeah, which those are fun to watch too. I don't mind that at all.
I don't either. I tell you something you don't see much of anymore is the multi-engine tractors.
Yeah.
You know, you get out west, there's still a bunch of them, but around here, you don't see much of that no more.
Right. It seems
like those.
It seems like the gas truck pulling's like more popular down your guys' way than up here, though. Yeah. Like the diesels aren't as big.
No, we don't have a big diesel bunch down here. We got a lot of street guys, but nothing like the 263 bore stuff.
Right.
Just not a lot of those guys here.
Right. Which that's kind of taken over our area. Like every pull, it's a big 2.6 class, a big 3.0 class. Like it's kind of taken over the gas classes.
I tell you, the first time I went to Burlington the year before last, it was like 400 some hooks of the 2.6 and 3.0 guys. I'm like, whoa. It was like incredibly big.
You guys were pulling until like 4 a.m. that night.
We was, and I just couldn't believe it. They just kept pulling and pulling, and I was like, "Good time of day."
That's something else, though.
It's big up there.
Which it's cool to go to something like that because you see trucks and tractors you might never see again, you know. And you see
that's the thing.
That was another one of them pulls last year where there was guys coming from all over.
You got your money's worth, that's for sure.
Yeah. We sat there. They did a pay-per-view of that show, and we sat in the living room watching the whole thing. I mean, that was an awesome show up there for sure.
That was a great show.
That one's just like everybody messages and asks why we weren't there and that sort of thing. Even though it's in Pennsylvania, man, I think that was like a 6-hour drive for us. So that was like, that's up there. That's
it's a nice drive for me too.
Is it? I'm sure. Because you probably don't have like a direct straight shot that you can use to get there, huh?
It wasn't too bad. I could take 81 all the way up to like I think it's 15. 15 takes you up by that other big pool y'all have up there. I know y'all go to it. Is it
Salem's Grove?
Yep. We went right by that, and I just stayed on 15 right up, and then I think maybe 522 or something maybe. Put us right across the mountain right to it.
Which, Salem's Grove, they're starting their own point series for the gas trucks. So they're doing rules that are really similar to ours, and they're going to run, I think he told me they're going to do 10 or 12 events next year out there. If you got the opportunity, that's a really nice track out there.
Well, I had thought about going there last year a couple of times because they run Friday nights a lot of nights. We went up to Burlington and run Saturday nights, and I thought about hitting it, but I didn't know nothing about the rules, and so I just kind of stayed out.
I think they're going 6,300 pounds next year, and they're going to allow 36s. That's going to be the two differences, but that's the rules they've been running forever. And there's guys that are running the 36s and all that. So I told him, I was like, you can't really shove all them guys out or make them change. Those are the guys that have been supporting you forever. So I think that's the rules they're running, but that is a nice track out there. I mean, it's
extra 100 pounds, a 35 tire. If we got our stuff right, we can run with those guys.
Yeah, I mean, we go out there and perform pretty good. I mean, there's some good running trucks out there, though.
That 36-inch tire is going to help you a little. That extra inch makes a big difference. But
right, and if you get on the right track, it's going to really shine.
Yep.
Really shine. So,
but it'd be fun still.
Right, and that's a really nice track. That they have a really nice power track there, tons of pit room. I mean, it's a really good place to pull.
I'll have to try that one night then.
Yeah, I'd say you'd have a good time for sure.
I'm going to try to hit all I can hit, but
there might be another gas hook for you if Chase can come on board and quit being shy with me.
Yeah, Chase. Yeah.
We're working on it.
We got to get something going, man.
Making phone calls. We're working on it.
Yeah.
Chase, we won't let you down, buddy.
Nope.
I want to have your class. Just get in the right place.
Yep. We're gonna put on a national level event in the state of Pennsylvania and make
East
everybody
Coast Nationals.
Yep.
There you go.
We just manifested it. We just manifested it. There it is. It's bound to happen now.
Well, I tell you, I hope eventually they let us make it to like one of the indoor pools, like Keystone or something.
Yeah. I honestly thought we were going to be able to get in this year. There was a lot of speculation going on in that team and stuff that we were hearing, but nothing came out of it. So,
well, good thing, because a lot of us are down now. We wouldn't make it.
The thing with me is I would love to get the trucks in there for the simple fact that it's the Keystone Nationals in Pennsylvania. There has never been a Pennsylvania truck in the class before. So let's get a couple of our guys in there. I think even if they added us to the show with like the South guys already, like you guys might be able to be a part of that division. And then they got like the Western Rebels or whatever it is and the North guys.
I think that'd be cool.
Let's make it an even number and do the East division, the Appalachian Outlaws, and let's see what happens. I think that would be awesome. I think from a fan's perspective, I mean, that would be freaking amazing, honestly.
And the way they do that little thing, like you say, with the little North and South and the Western, man, they could split that up for the first night of running. You know, that's only the top 10 or 12 or whatever they want to qualify. Right. I think it'd be awesome, Shelly.
I think that would be sick. From a fan's perspective, I mean, that's just such a good story you can build up too, with all the different areas of trucks coming together, and you're going to see so many different matchups and rivalries form at that show. Like, you could really make something special there, I think.
Well, you know what I say. You and Chase has got the brass on this deal. Y'all going to have to get in there.
I don't know. I hope someday that's what this all leads to. Maybe we can put our own indoor pool on or something if we can find a big enough barn or something to do it.
That's going to be a big barn.
That's going to be a big barn. That's for sure. We need a long enough track, though. We can't be going into these arenas. That'd only be like a 70-foot track.
Yeah, I know.
Which that's how they did it back in the old days. There's a fella, his shop was right down the road from where we live. He had the Stomper truck. Yep. It was a red square body.
I know exactly.
They went and pulled in like Madison Square Garden and all the big arenas, and they literally lifted the trucks up in elevators to get to the arena part. Yeah, and it was like a 70-foot track. They were pulling on a 70-foot track, you know, like imagine doing that with the trucks that are out now. I mean, that would be probably not good. Yeah.
That'd be tough.
You'd see a lot of hurt motors after that for sure.
Yeah. I don't even know. So a lot of us wouldn't even be off the clutch by then.
Yeah, right. Or just be sitting there spinning, looking out the window going, what's going on? I'm just sitting here. So,
I
Oh, well, we'll see what happens. Indoor pulling, that's something I want to be a part of someday. I think it'll happen eventually. We just got to make the stars align somehow.
We get this 10-pull season in, and we got a good turnout of trucks, and it holds up. I think it'll eventually come in.
I think so.
That's what it takes.
Right. Right. like I said, last year was just a really good year to like set a foundation for what we can do in the future. Like I think the way we handled the rainouts and all that stuff, and so many people took a chance on us to support us and help us go. Like that was the biggest thing, because there was already all these sanctioning bodies and stuff putting shows on, and guys literally skipped their usual sanctioning pools to come pool with us. If that wasn't to happen, we probably wouldn't be sitting here right now talking. You know what I mean? Like,
you're exactly right.
It just really worked out, and it was because of everybody that supported it. So that was.
If you stay on the same path you're going, I think it's gonna get better. I really do.
I hope so. I think with me and Chase working up here in Pennsylvania, we're gonna make special things happen for sure.
I think it's gonna work out good. I mean, you brought a lot of things to the pulling world, like we talked about earlier, that just it ain't been there.
Right.
You know, and every little thing that you can get to help the drivers now, that's a big plus in the pulling world.
Right.
That's a jump. Yeah. That's like that's like night and day.
Right. And that's what we're trying. I hope what we're doing inspires everybody else, because I don't sit here and go, oh, well, I don't want this organization to succeed. I'm going to schedule over him. Like, I hope we can all work together and just at the end of the day realize, like, if we don't support one another, there's not going to be truck and tractor pulling. We got to work together and grow this thing, because
really, right, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Right.
I've been cutting you off all night. You got to take a turn. We just both like talking. That's the problem. But just to finish my statement up, I just want to say, like, the ROI of helping one another is way more than working against each other. And I think me and Chase are like living proof of that. Like, we're both working together. He's putting on huge shows up in his area, and I'm helping him with all that, and then he's helping me with mine. And I think that's just freaking awesome, because I don't think there's anybody else I could do that with.
It is. And like you said, if a lot more would jump on board and do that, right. It would go a lot more places, you know?
Yep.
Right.
It would take off a lot better. I think you could get a lot more sponsors in, too.
Yeah, you know? I think so.
You got something more organized.
Right.
It ain't just a cutthroat.
And you got stuff in black and white. Like, here's what we did. Yep. Here's the attendance we had with the pullers and the fans and everything. This is what we can do, and this is what we can advertise and present your business to. Like, that's a big factor in all of it, too. So I think it'll all come together, though. Yeah,
people working together and the sponsors has been the biggest hurt for truck pulling, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yep.
You know, all these organizations cut each other's throat because they was just, they was wanting the money. They was wanting to do their thing, and they didn't care. And the sponsors never was really into truck pulling. Like
I just think, like, right. And I just think now it's like there's not, the big promoters aren't presenting it to these title sponsors well enough to get them. Like, now, like, the world has changed so much to where the majority of advertising goes to, like, social media and that sort of thing. And there just hasn't been a big sanctioning body that's jumped on board and really utilized that yet.
I think so.
So I think as people start utilizing that more, that's when you're going to see a big sponsor come into the game, and that's when pulling's really going to take off.
Right now, my opinion, I got two businesses, and my opinion is right now would be the best time for the sponsors to jump on.
Yeah.
The way the country is now, I mean, there's a lot of guys that look through that sponsor board. If they need something, that call could come.
Right. I know you called the tire shop that sponsored us last year, because he called me and said, some fella from Virginia just called me asking for tires. And I was like, I probably can guess who that was. I wish he could have helped you out, but it just seems like them tires is a hard thing to get right now.
I actually called like 3 of them on your sponsor list.
Oh, did you?
I was calling around everywhere up in there.
Yeah.
Y'all seem like y'all got all the stuff up that way. That's one thing Virginia's lacking. There's nothing around here.
Yeah. We have a lot of stuff like that around here. The problem is with all the regulations and stuff they're putting on, like aftermarket stuff and that sort of thing, there's a lot of guys quitting that side of work up here too. So that's kind of another scary thing, Well,
that's everywhere.
Right.
But y'all are still ahead of the ball game when it comes down here. We just don't have nothing down here.
Yeah.
We can't get parts, pieces. There's just nothing around here.
Yeah. I think that's one thing we kind of take advantage of up here. We don't realize is just the resources of that sort of thing, for sure. Now that you say that,
It is. It's crazy. Y'all got a lot more access to parts and pieces. Of course, you got Petros in the backyard too. You know, he's a big part
he's a pretty good guy there, to say the least. Mark's a great guy.
I'm gonna throw him out on the bus. He should be one of the sponsors for this thing.
See, I think with Mark, it's like
him heavily.
Well, I think with Mark, it's more like he has so many clients and people that utilize his business. He doesn't want to support something and, like, in a way, take sides, which I totally get.
And that's what goes on down here. Some of the people down here that would sponsor us, they got so many people because there's not many down here.
Right.
If they sponsor us, then they feel obligated to sponsor 2 or 3 other things, and then they get themselves in a pickle.
And really, with Mark, it's like he supported us a ton just by being a part of this, because that is arguably one of the best pullers in the class in the entire nation, maybe in the world. You know,
probably the hardest to beat at any given time.
Right. I mean, that guy can turn it on and off when he feels like it, really. Like, when you're watching Mark at a pull, if he's feeling like he's going to kick everyone's ass or not, just by looking at him. The majority of the time last year, he had that look on him, and he sure pulled out. So
if he's talking to you, he's probably not having a good night.
Yeah.
If he's real quiet, keeping to himself, look out. He's going out the gate somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm giving him a hard time. He's a good guy.
He's a great guy.
He is.
He's one of the nicest guys in the whole sport, for sure.
That was probably the most fun I had truck pulling was this year anyway. Meeting everybody, meeting all the different people. I tell you, I met a lot of good people.
I mean, that's the awesome thing about it with me, too. It's like you see all these guys online. You even talk to them on Facebook Messenger or something. And then you see them pull into a pull. You're like, man, I feel like I know this guy already. I've been talking to him for years at this point. So that was a really cool thing, too, especially going down to Craigsville, and all the guys in your area were there and being able to talk to them. And that was pretty awesome.
I still talk to a lot of the guys from Ohio, Pennsylvania, Vermont, New York. I'm private messaging them all the time.
Yeah.
Facebook.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's cool because you feel like you've made like lifelong friends from all this.
It is.
And I think that's something that you can take away that's more valuable than anything in this, is meeting the people and making great memories. So.
And I tell you, I don't know why or how it happened, but being the whole first year, you combined all these different people and states together. There was really no arguments. There was no beefs. Everything kind of went smooth.
I think everybody was just happy to be there and wanting to have fun, which is what it's all about at the end of the day.
I was shocked. I figured sooner or later something would happen, but I mean, it was.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. I feel like our rules are so open at this point, especially with the changes we made last year. It's like, what can you gripe about?
Really?
So.
For the most part, it was a good group of guys. There was no trouble, really, no issues.
And it seems like everybody can come together and get along and have fun, which is what this is all about, you know? So
that's my thing. I don't care if you finish first or last. We all put a lot of time and money and effort into it.
Right.
But, get along, have fun.
Right. And
that's the way I look at it.
I hope we can continue that into next year and have a really awesome season. So, I mean, really, we got 5 months left to preparing and promoting and that sort of thing. So everything's kind of in our favor to really pull something great out. So
I think it will. I think
we'll see what happens.
It's looking good so far.
So good.
I mean, really, y'all come a long way in a year and a half, 2 year plan.
Yeah, and like the crazy thing for me was this was never even the plan. Like, we got this all together to have fun with all these different trucks coming together, and that was it. Like, we were going to do the 4 pulls we did, and it was over. We're going to go back to pulling at the same places, and that's it. And then a couple birdies on my shoulder were like, oh, we can expand this and make this bigger, and it's turning into what we're doing now. So, I mean, it's amazing to see where we've come. But like I keep saying, I mean, if there wasn't the people supporting us like they did, we wouldn't be sitting here right now. So
it takes
I got to give a shout out to everybody, and just any of the people at the track that helped. Chase here, sitting here, he's been on the phone with me on average about 5 hours a week, helping me go over stuff, promotional wise and stuff. So I mean,
It does.
the track crew, the sponsors.
It takes a lot of people, a lot of time. I used to help put on a little pool here close to home. They don't have it no more. Hey, it's been gone for years, but I tell you, it takes a lot of people and a lot of time. It's a lot of work goes behind the scenes to do this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, really, I never even knew the cusp of how many people it took to put a show on until last year. Like, there's just so many people you don't even think about that you need to put on a good show. So, I mean, and the way we do it, we're going into an already established event with our classes, and them guys are building the track and that sort of thing. So, for everything to happen like it did last year, it just took so many things to go right. And I'm like really thankful for that. Like the fair at, in Myersdale, Pennsylvania, I think they said they had a truck on Saturday night hooked to the sled and going down the track every 2 minutes. Like that takes a lot of people to jump on board and put a ton of effort in. Just little stuff like that I think made a difference in the success of this. So
it takes
we'll see what happens.
That guy unhooking the chain all the time, that's a heavy little rascal. I don't know if you ever did that, but just walk out there sometime and unhook a couple trucks.
Right.
That fella works.
Yeah, for sure. Like everybody. And like the people that are a part of the show, the amount that they put into it also creates a better product for the viewer. Like I think about Chase's pool. He has that Dan Jones flagging at the end of the track. That guy, the truck will be coming down the track and he'll wave the red flag and do twirls and get real into it. And that in itself makes an awesome show that people don't do anywhere.
It does. You know, you go to some of these little backcountry pools, you got, I don't know, maybe he's drunk, maybe he's just off in his own la-la land.
Yeah.
You don't even know if he's holding the flag.
Right. And he don't even look behind him to see if anything's there. He just waves that green flag and tells him to come on
We've
down.
all seen it. So, yeah.
Right. So
you
it's
get
just
the right people in play can make a big difference in the little way the show just looks.
Right.
So
we'll see what happens.
Chase. Keep hiring those kind of guys.
Yep. You got to find the people that are just as passionate about the whole thing as you and treat them well and give them a reason to work with you. You know, that's the biggest thing. Right. So, we're kind of running out of time here. I appreciate you for coming on. Is there anything you want to say before we let you go here tonight?
I just want to thank y'all for everything you've done, and hopefully this thing goes the way we all want it to go, and thank all the people that put in the time and the effort to do what they're doing, and all the sponsors. I tell you, the sponsors are a big key to this thing.
I agree.
They really helped us a lot, whether they know it or not. I hope they listen to this. It is wonderful. We're all happy.
I agree. And I just want to thank you again for supporting us, because there's only been a handful of Virginia guys that have really went out of their way to go 110% into this. And again, if it wasn't for you guys, this wouldn't even be a possibility right now. Well, so that means the world to me that you're so passionate about this, and hopefully we can keep going for many years to come.
Well, I think I can see a future in it, so I'm going to stick with you, and we'll see where it goes. And
all right.
Hopefully I can drag a few more Virginians in with me. And
that's what I'm talking about.
I think we're going to pick up a few extra this year. I really do. I think we got maybe a good handful more coming.
I think so, too. I think so, too, because I think the biggest thing was last year people were still waiting on parts and stuff, so...
That, and we had some people undecided. They didn't want to travel when they had it at home. Well, then I think they found out running the season at home, it wasn't. They started hearing about how good things was on this end, and
right.
We'll see.
We'll see what happens.
You know how that is. Talk's cheap. Talk is cheap.
Yep. All right.
Thank you, guys.
We appreciate you for coming on, and I'm sure this won't be the last time either. We'll have to get you on once the season starts and catch up with you.
Podcast goes every week. If you have an opening and you need to fill it, hey, hook me up.
All right, that sounds good.
We'll talk about something. I don't know.
Yeah,
what,
I'm sure.
Talk about something.
I mean, we could go for another 2 or 3 hours now, I think. But
oh yeah, I could.
We'll be on Joe Rogan's level. We can't go on that level yet. We got to stay small. So.
Thank you, Chase.
Yep, we'll talk to you later.
Thank you so much.
And don't forget the Appalachian Outlaws, Chase. Now we're looking for you.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
We'll have you up north.
I'm gonna come and watch a couple events, even if we're not pulling.
That'll work.
I'm gonna come check y'all out, support you a little bit.
Awesome.
Sounds good.
I can't wait.
If you need any help, I'm there. Hell, I'll help do something.
That's awesome.
We'll figure
That'll
it out.
work.
Thank you, guys.
All right,
thank
sir.
you.
Thank you so much. We'll talk to you later.
Next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. What an awesome interview.
That was good.
Yeah, that was pretty fun. It's awesome having a guy like that on here that's just so passionate about the sport. And I know a lot of this tonight was about Appalachian Outlaws and that sort of thing. So I'm sorry you kind of had to sit there.
Well, I didn't know a lot about
Right.
I didn't know. You know what I mean? I'm not into the
Right.
gas guys.
So
we don't even have them up here really.
Right. So hopefully by next year you'll have a little bit more knowledge on all the gas classes, and I'm sure you will because you're going to be announcing quite a bit for us next year. So
yeah,
we'll see what happens. All right, guys. Well, that's it for episode number 3 of the Pit Pass. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, like the video. If you're watching on another streaming platform, be sure to follow, like, whatever you got to do to support us. That would be greatly appreciated. I appreciate you guys so much. Chase, is there anything you got to say before we sign off here?
No, thanks to all the listeners for tuning in.
So we'll see you guys next week. We're going to have hopefully another guest on here talking about the sport we all love, truck and tractor pulling, here on the #1 podcast in truck and tractor pulling. And I'm not lying to you guys about that. Why would I lie about that? All right. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.